Alright, here's the video review for the Green Lantern DC Collectibles Graffiti Designs. These are the 1/18th scale figures they've been doing, little 3.75-inch scale. Figures around the same size as the Marvel, is it Legends? Marvel, whatever. But the small Marvel figures, the small action figures. These are the 2-packs, the Kyle Rayner and Kilowog 2-pack from Comic-Con 2012. And then the Jon Stewart and Atrocitus 2-pack from New York Comic-Con back in October. Now, on the back of Jon Stewart and Atrocitus box, there is an ad for Guy Gardner and Larfleeze. I don't know if that set's out yet. I'll have to look. And we'll see if we'll pick it up. Because I'm a big Green Lantern fan, and like these are some nice-looking figures. They do have some flaws. And we'll get into those, but they're kind of neat. One of the first things you'll notice is Kilowog's lower body looks a little weak compared to his upper body. It's not horrible, but it's something, especially in hand, you notice. Also, they have a lot of the DC Direct or the DC superheroes, the Mattel's larger DC Classics line, DC Universe. There we go. They have that same articulation, but because it's been shrunk down, it has some fragility to it. Like Kyle Rayner's arm, they have these upper bicep swivels, and right out of the package, Kyle's arm snapped because this joint was kind of frozen, or just from the pressure of lifting his shoulder up a little bit, like that. When I went to pull it up just a little bit, it snapped right off. So you really want to move these things directly at whichever joint you're manipulating, just because too much leverage can snap the little tiny. Even when it popped off, it's this tiny, thin little post that's thinner than a toothpick, holding them together. Also, there's some swivel down here at the calf, right where the boot meets the leg, and this leg is off. I've been trying to adjust it, but I can feel the resistance, and I can kind of see it's not plugged all the way in. So I've been very careful because I don't want to. I've been trying to push it to snap it all the way on. I've been trying to see if I could pop it off without ruining anything, but I can already feel the resistance. I know that if I twist this as it is right now, I would end up just twisting that peg off on his leg. Now on the plus side, he's still got on this arm, he's still got the elbow joint here. He's still got the glove joint kind of here in the mid forearm. So he lost this upper bicep articulation, but really for a figure this size, he's still pretty good on articulation. He still has, the shoulder movement up and down and forward and back here. He just can't swivel his arm in a little bit. And I tried to glue it in a pretty natural position. And these are mostly going to be display pieces on my shelf anyway, so I'm not really mourning that loss, but they are a lot more fragile than I'd expect. And part of that is just because they're being overly ambitious. They're doing some really neat stuff with these guys. And the fact that there are ab crunches and things is nice on figures this size, but it does lead to some fragility. Like I said, it really didn't take any effort out of the package to snap that arm off. But all he's done, he's lost the ability to do this. And really, that's something that you don't always see on a figure that size anyway. So, oh well. But thanks to my buddy Abraham for selling me these on Twitter. He was going to get rid of them and asked if I was interested, and they showed up today, so I'm pretty stoked about that, because I really am a big Green Lantern fan. I've got all of the 6-inch Classics figures on my shelf at home. Not the movie ones, but all of the actual comic ones. Every single one they've put out, with the exception of Alan Scott, I have at home, and I'm really happy with them. They're really nice. So yeah, so Kyle and Kilowog come together, and you've seen most of the articulation. They all have that. There's a seam there right where their gloves meet. They can rotate the forearm, a bicep swivel. There is an elbow joint, the shoulder joints, ball joint and neck on all these guys. Now see, Jon Stewart and Atrocitus actually have. I guess they all have ab crunches, but they've got ab crunches and the upper chest kind of little ball joint swivel up there as well. The legs are a little rough on some of these, and you can see it especially on Kilowog's knees there, how they just kind of pivot in. They are double jointed knees, which is nice, but on a figure this small, it's hard to mask that. I mean, it does kind of go chunk. His knee looks much thinner than the rest of his leg. But again, for a small display piece, that's not uncommon, and it's actually done fairly well for a figure of this size, but it is something noticeable. Now, in the Kyle and Kilowog pack, Comes with, it doesn't fit on Kilowog, unfortunately, because he's huge, or at least in comparison. But he does come with this little, it's kind of a gun forming out of the glowy green fire of Green Lantern power, willpower. And you can put it on either hand. I think it looks more natural. This hand's more open and relaxed, and this hand's kind of in a clenching. It's not all the way clenched, but it's more of a squarish fist, and it is a square hole on here. And it fits, I found it fits much easier on his left hand, like this. But you can put that on there, and it looks like he's creating a weapon with his lantern ring, which is kind of cool. And Atrocitus and John Stewart over here, we'll get to them now. John comes with a sniper rifle. Makes sense, he's a Marine and has that training. Unfortunately, the way it's packaged, it's in the package, it kind of slides down into a slot, and the very tip of it goes through a hole in the plastic tray, which then, when you snap it all in, bends the tip. Now, it's going to be very easy to, like, again, heat this up with a hairdryer, straighten it out. It's kind of a soft plastic anyway, but it is going to come out more than likely permanently warped to the side like that. And he doesn't hold it very well. Part of it, too, is, like I said, quality-wise, the joints being shrunk down. This shoulder does not, I don't want to force it after what happened to Kyle, but this shoulder over here just does not want to go down all the way. I can see the groove in the shoulder joint up here that would allow it should allow it to fold down to a slightly more natural pose at his side, but it just likes to keep popping up. Like there it managed to stay just because I managed to wedge it down so it far enough that it got stuck, but it likes to keep popping up like that. That's about as far as it'll move without using some force. And like I said, after snapping Kyle's arm, I don't want to really force anything. But he can hold it. He can hold it. You can kind of get a decent holding it in one hand and bringing the other arm up and out. Although again, it'd be a little bit easier to do if you could get that shoulder down a little bit easier. But you can have him holding the rifle and kind of underslung with his hand underneath it. But it's kind of a pain. Like it's a nicely designed sniper rifle. It looks kind of cool, but again, with the bent tip and the fact that he doesn't hold it very well, it seems. And also, it's a much brighter. It's more of a yellow green than Kyle's, which always struck me as weird. I always think the yellow green. They did that with I think Katmatui's accessories in the 6-inch line, where they were just slightly more yellow than everything else, and they just looked weird. I'm used to Green Lantern constructs being a pretty uniform green, and again, more the color of Kyle's over here. But so there's that. John Stewart himself is actually a pretty nicely designed figure, and if you look on, it actually tells you who sculpts him on the side of the box, and Robert Linders did both. Alright, so anyway, my phone died on me and stopped, but Robert Linders did both of these, both Kyle and John. Josh Sutton did Kilowog, and Paul Harding sculpted Atrocitus, just for the record. So it's nice that they give their sculptors credit. Because like I said, the sculpting is actually really nice. The detail on these figures is really cool. It's just the execution of the joints at this size. It's weird to say it, but I almost would have preferred maybe slightly more limited articulation in favor of a little bit more stability. They're nice figures. Like I said, they're going to go on my shelf. They're going to be displayed, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a shame that John Stewart doesn't really hold his gun as well as he could, because it shows him in the picture. It shows him holding it pretty well, and he really doesn't hold it all that great. So I guess the box does have him holding it with this hand, which does okay. Well, no. I was going to say, oh, maybe it fits in that hand a little better, but it really doesn't. You really have to have him supporting it with his other hand to keep it in any way, shape, or form looking decent. And again, it's just, with that shoulder not wanting to come in, it's hard to get him in a natural pose with it. I guess you can clip his hand around this part. Although he just got a stress mark near his thumb. Yeah, see, it's just getting it all lined up is a pain. He comes with a gun. Don't recommend using it, but that's okay because you still get this really cool little swirly, spiky drill thing that comes with Atrocitus from his red blood powers. Which I didn't think the Red Lanterns could do constructs. I thought they just vomited blood. but maybe they upgraded something. And again, he's got a closed fist and an open hand over here, and this fits over the closed fist hand, but you can plug his hand down into, I thought it went a little further down in there, but anyway, you can give him a drilly, stabby bit. I think Kyle, aside from the broken limb, I think Kyle and Atrocitus look the best of the four. Kilowog's cool. Like the black line on his mouth, I think, makes him look a little. Like he's all pink in the face, and even and there's some detail work. It's nice detail, and then suddenly like his mouth just has this dark black line picking out, and it looks a little comical. It looks like somebody panel lined just his mouth. And like I said, his knees kind of kill it for me, the way they're just kind of chunked in like that. But Kyle and Atrocity, Kyle's one of my favorite Green Lanterns, and I know that can cause a heated debate among Lantern fans, but I've always liked Kyle. Kyle was, I got into Green Lantern unintentionally, like 2 seconds before they killed off Hal Jordan the first time. So I mean, like I was like, oh, Green Lantern, he's pretty cool, and like I've enjoyed him ever since. But it was, oh, Green Lantern, he looks kind of cool. I'll start reading this comic, and then like 2 issues later, it was Reign of the Superman, and Coast City got blown up, and then like 2 issues after that, it was, everything's dead. I need to go insane, and Kyle came in, and I'm okay with that. Like as I said, I like Kyle, but yeah, that's how I get into Green Lantern. And Atrocitus just looks cool. I'm not a huge fan of like the multi-core, all the characters in the different various colors of light, but I kind of dig Atrocitus. Larfleeze is kind of cool. Like most of the leaders, Sinestro makes sense because he already had the yellow ring beforehand. And I like when he was Green Lantern for a while there in the comic itself, but Atrocitus is really looking good. But unfortunately, you have to buy 2 sets to get the 2 figures I like. You have to buy both of them. I definitely want to get Guy at some point. When that set comes out, I need to check to see if that set's been released. But yeah, there you go. There's the Kyle Rayner and Kilowog Green Lantern set from Comic-Con 2012, or San Diego Comic-Con 2012, and the Atrocitus and Jon Stewart set from New York Comic-Con 2012. Like I said, I'll look forward to future releases in the line. They're not bad. I would like to see them improve the quality a little bit, and maybe find a way to either eliminate some of these fragile joints or find a way to toughen them up a little bit. But yeah, there you go.